Part 6. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 51. Chapter 51 Earth Fire Concocting Pills. First. The entire length of the spirit field is divided into a number of blocks, sparkling a variety of spirit light, and it is obvious that several shapeshift great art arrays are arranged. Walking in this spirit field, some places are hot and hard, like in the midsummer, some places are chilly, with thick ice layers, and some places are also arranged in an unusually dark, tidal wet, like a deep cave. The same environment. The reason why there are so many different arrangements is that the growth environment of various spicy herbs is different, and only survives and grows in a specific environment. Like this spirit field covers more than a dozen environments, it is also considered a good spirit field. After passing through the spirit field, Wei Suo entered the middle courtyard of the middle and a small garden. In addition to the entrance to the great treasure, a study and a sleeping room, there is also a quiet room dedicated to the culture, soundproofing, and a soft silver silk woven blanket. This quiet room is built close to the mountain wall and has a stone gate on the mountain wall. Pushing the heavy stone gate and walking into the ramp of the mountain wall for a dozen steps, Wei Suo felt only a hot heat. There are two rooms in the room, one has 230 feet and is square empty, nothing. There are many pits on the walls of the hard rock, which are specially used for cultivator to test their own. The shapeshift great art and the shapeshift great art are one room, while the other room is the focus of Wei Suo, the fire furnace room. The entire fire furnace room is square and has a size of 7 or 8 feet. The small treasure is a bronze stone earth fire furnace. The furnace cauldron's 4 feet are engraved with scales that look like the claws of 4 unicorns. There is a blazing heat rising above the rounded mouth. On the top of the mouth is a small cyan fire with 18 mouths open, facing the mouth of the furnace, making a spouting posture, very realistic. It's not a place for 80 pieces of spiritual stones for a month. I don't know what the heaven-level residence is like. Standing in the fire furnace room, which can be used for artifact refinement or concocting pills, Wei Suo can't help but surging sound. There is spirit field, there is a fire furnace room, and if the restrictions are a little more harmful, it is almost a hole. In this place, culture does not know how many times it is better than in the small stone house in the west of the city. However, Wei Suo is not to enjoy it. For him now, the 80 pieces of spiritual stones are still used for 1 month. Some meat hurts. Although still in the daytime, green-robed old man was still in the ghost-raising jar, but Wei Suo was not idle. After a while, he immediately returned to the quiet room and took out a pale yellow middle-grade spiritual stones. Closed eyes cultivation got up. Now all the things in the West Rock House, including the 4 portraits of Shui Ling Wei Suo have been installed with the treasure receiving pocket. But throughout the day, Wei Suo was just the culture purple mystic true technique, and did not take out the gold wire talisman brush and other materials to refine talisman, because he learned from the mouth of green-robed old man that concocting pills consumes no more spirit than refining talisman should be less. After the sky was completely dark, Wei Suo took the ghost-raising jar, which green-robed old man had already floated, into the fire furnace room. Earth fire furnace, it's still okay. Green-robed old man glanced at the bronzed furnace cauldron in the middle and grinned. You should familiarize yourself with the fire power of this furnace cauldron. Wei Suo nodded, and according to the previous 2 snobbery heaven's first sect disciple, a true Yuan stalked into one of the cyan fire statues of the bronze furnace cauldron. Pu. What scared Wei Suo was that a dark red fire tongue sprang from the mouth of the fire, and a bit of a pungent fire baleful aura instantly filled the entire furnace room. This is the earth fire that comes from the heart of the fire. Wei Suo feels that this stock looks like the heat contained in a thick oily tongue. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 52. The whole acres of squares are divided into many blocks, with many kinds of auras flashing, and it is obvious that several magic arrays are arranged. Walking in this spiritual field, some places are very hot and difficult, like the midsummer, some places are cold, with thick ice, and some places are arranged in an extremely dark and humid, like a deep cave, the same environment. The reason why there are so many different arrangements is that the growth environment of various elixir is different, and only in a specific environment can they survive and grow. For example, this Ling Tian covers more than a dozen environments, and it is already a good Ling Tian. After passing through this Ling Tian, Wei Suo entered the courtyard of a courtyard with a small garden in the middle. In addition to the entrance hall, a study room and a sleeping room, there is also a quiet room with soft silver silk grass woven blankets specially designed for cultivation, with excellent sound insulation. This quiet room was built against the mountain wall, and there was a stone door on the mountain wall. Pushing open this heavy stone door and walking a dozen steps towards the Yongdao among the mountain walls, Wei Suo only felt a fiery hot air blowing in his face. There are two rooms inside, one is 20 to 30 feet square, empty, nothing. There are many holes on the four walls of the hard rock, which is specially used for monks to try their own skills. One room with the power of the magic weapon, while the other room is the focus of Wei Suo, the ground fire room. The whole ground fire room is square and square, with an area of 7 or 8 feet. In addition to a stone table on the left side of the entrance, in the middle is a half-height bronze ground stove. The 4 feet of this furnace are carved with scale-like patterns and look like the claws of 4 unicorns. There was a blazing hot air rising continuously above the round furnace mouth. On top of the furnace mouth are 18 small green fire toads with open mouths, facing the furnace mouth, making breathing poses, very realistic. It is worthy of the place of 80 inferior spirit stones for 1 month. I don't know what the residence of the heavenly class looks like. Standing in this ground-fired furnace room that can be used for refining and alchemy, Wei Suo couldn't help but sigh. There are spirit fields and ground fire houses. If the prohibition is more severe, it can almost be regarded as a cave house. I don't know how many times I feel more comfortable than practicing in such a small stone house in the west of the city, but Wei Suo didn't come to enjoy it. For him, the 80 inferior spirit stones are still allowed for a month. He was a little painful. Although it was still daytime, the old man in the green robe was still quiet in the ghost tank, but Wei Suo was not idle. After a while, he returned to the quiet room and took out a light yellow middle-grade spirit stone. I closed my eyes and practiced. Now all the things in the small stone house in the west of the city, including the 4 portraits of Shui Ling have been packed in Nabao. However, throughout the day, Wei Suo was only practicing Zixuanzhenk, and he did not take out the gold rune pens and other materials to refine the rung, because he learned from the mouth of the old man in the green robe that the spirit consumed by alchemy was no less than that of the rune. After the sky was completely dark, Wei Suo carried the ghost-raising pot from which the old man in green robe had floated into the ground fire room. Ching Chandi stove, it's okay. The old man in the green robe glanced at the bronze furnace tripod in the center and pouted his lips. You first get familiar with the fire power of this furnace tripod. Wei Suo nodded his head, and according to the 2 snobbish Tianyi disciples, a true element of the blue fire toad was poured into the bronze furnace. Puff. I rely on. What surprised Wei Suo was that a dark red tongue of fire spewed out of the fire toad's mouth in an instant, and a somewhat pungent fire breath instantly filled the entire furnace room. This is the ground fire drawn from the ground heart fire vein. Wei Suo felt that the heat contained in the oil-like thick tongue of fire was more terrifying than the fireballs made by his own fireball. I don't know how much. Fortunately, the tongue of fire from the mouth of the fire toad was very stable, just condensed into a roll, and burned in the center of the furnace mouth. As Wei Suo once again focused on the fire toad that spewed out fire, the fire toad was extinguished, and the fire that spewed out of the mouth disappeared instantly. 18 fire toads can emit 18 flames, which means that there are 18 kinds of temperature fire power can be controlled. After watching Wei Suo familiar with this Jing Chandi stove, The old man in green robe said in a deep voice, "Just turn on the 5 toads first, and then put the Dan furnace on the stove." Wei Suo nodded his head, and 5 consecutive yuans were poured into it. I saw 5 dark red thick flames pouring out of the 3 fire toads, meeting together, forming a flower-like flame. Wei Suo took out the ordinary Wajindan furnace bought in a small shop and placed it more carefully over the flame of the furnace mouth. Bulatan Tian Dan has no special requirements for the Dan furnace, as long as it can withstand the fire power of the ground fire. Okay, Han Lujian is too. Listening to the command of the old man in the green robe, 2 pieces of green-white tubers, obviously with carefully selected and pre-made portions, were put into the Wajindan furnace. The water in the 2 cold dew roots immediately rose up as soon as they were thrown into the Dan furnace. It was only half an incense, and the 2 cold dew roots were completely cracked and smoked into 2 bluish-white balls. Powder. 3 silver moon grasses and 5 horse chestnuts are ready first. Good. Quickly, join in at the same time. When Wei Suo stretched out his hands, 3 peculiar sterling silver plants and 5 purple flowers with 7 leaves of horse chestnut fell into the furnace at the same time. 3 silver moon grasses and 5 horse chestnuts quickly turned gray and turned into silver and purple powder under extremely high fire power. 10 strains of purple deficiency grass and 1 green beetle demon are ready. After I tell you to put it in, you will immediately cover the Dan furnace, the old man in green robe said dignifiedly. Okay, Wei Suo took a deep breath, rubbed his hands, and was very nervous. After all, the rest was trivial, but a green beetle demon was worth 60 inferior spirit stones. Just like burning money. Don't put it yet. Wei Suo, who was highly focused, waited for a while and saw that the purple powder formed by horse chestnuts had been scorched, and was baked into a black particle. Wei Suo was really couldn't help it, and asked quickly. Don't talk nonsense, the old man in the green robe shouted, waited for another time for the incense stick, and when the silver powder melted by Yunyu Cao became somewhat white, suddenly shouted, quick release. Wei Suo's conditional reflex was generally normal, and he cast the purple deficiency grass and the green beetle demon pill into it. When he quickly put the Dan furnace cover on, he only saw the purple deficiency grass and the green beetle demon pill into it. Puffs of purple and blue-yellow mist. With the passage of time, Xiao Dingzhong exudes a hint of medicinal fragrance, which makes people feel refreshed. Open 2 more fire toads. When Wei Suo thought that the immortality medicine was about to be made, the old man in green robe drank again. Wei Suo did not dare to hesitate at all, and immediately opened 2 more fire toads. Under the violent fire, the entire small Wajindan furnace was almost completely wrapped in flames. Suddenly, there was a sound like the hot oil rolling in the furnace. What's going on? Wei Suo was startled. This is a variety of elixir that is burned into a liquid, and then it will congeal, the old man in green robe said quickly, still watching the red furnace in the flame. Quick, extinguish the 3 fire toads. Suddenly, the old man in green robe shouted. What? Wei Suo hurriedly injected a stream of true yuan into the fire toad. But only when the second fire toad was extinguished, only a crackling sound came out of the red furnace. It's all out, the old man in green robe became a little ugly as soon as he heard this voice. This one is already refining. Refining waste. Wei Suo extinguished all the fire toad's ground fire with extreme distress, and opened the extremely hot lid to see that there were many pieces of blue-yellow, like crystal fragments. I can't make alchemy by myself. Needs to take the time to remind you that it's a little harder, and I may not have been practicing alchemy for a long time, and I still have a poor grasp of the fire. He did not despise Wei Suo for the second time, because to tell the truth, the first time we cooperated with Wei Suo would not have any problems, until the end was about to fail, until Cheng Dan had exceeded his estimate. Come again, said the old man in green robe immediately after taking a cool look at Wei Suo. Come again. In the quiet floor fire room, after a long time, the calm voice of the old man in green robe rang again. Come again. Has it finally become? With the same material and the same steps, the old man in green robe kept shouting 3 times and came again. After Wei Suo's body had been soaked with sweat, Wei Suo even extinguished the 3 fire toads. What an accident, but a more and more intense fragrance came out. In the calm eyes of the old man in green robe, there was also a look of joy. Suddenly, he let out a breath and said, "Turn off all the ground fire one by one." The dark red turbulent fire pillars were all extinguished. A mellow smell of fragrant smoke radiated from the open Wajinden furnace and flooded the whole ground fire room. Wei Suo looked at the open Dan furnace in front of him, and he was almost in tears. On the top of the ebony golden furnace, a bluish yellow, round, crystal clear, and there is a trace of silver medicine on the silver pattern, is exuding a faint brilliance. Asterisk. Your brothers and sisters were powerful yesterday, the data hit a new high, yesterday the red ticket rushed to 6,000, it seems that I have to work hard today too, everyone is violent in the new year. There is also a punching event on the home page that is very useful. There are points and red tickets, the winning rate is 100%, don't forget to punch the card. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 53. Chapter 53 Shopping Madman, 3rd. The north of the city night market people surging sound, the business and booths are crowded, at least 1 or 2,000 cultivators are gathered in this lively night market. Wei Suo, wearing an extremely ordinary blue cloth and unobtrusive, walks along the street, a stall at a booth, and walks around the square where the few secret places are concentrated. There are all kinds of things in various merchants and stalls, such as various artifact refinement materials, various weapons, shapeshift great art, etc. There are also many good things, Wei Subo is used to it anyway. There are not enough spiritual stones on the body. Many good things know that they can't afford it. They don't even have the mind to cut the price. Almost half a lap, green-robed old man has been continually opened. Buy quicksand is good, playing monster beast is very useful, buy it. Rank 2 flying clouds you guys don't have any flying tricks, shapeshift great art, buy them. Wild ice thorn pear, good thing, give the ice owl a few to make the ice eagle break through the rank 1, buy it soon. Black iron. Even the earth fire is refining the good material of the shapeshift great art shield. I can't think of this guy who is more cumbersome than you, and can actually get such a material. Buy it now. Fortunately, the green-robed old man hidden in the ghost-raising jar will be similar to the shape transmission great art of the sound transmission. The surging sound sounds directly in Wei Suo's ears, otherwise the surrounding vendors must be excited to move up. This guy who wants to buy anything is sold out. Wei Suo can't help it anymore. The old man, you said that you can buy the quicksand and the flying clouds. I can still accept it? After all, I still need these 2 things, but this wild ice pear and black iron you said what is the use for me? I bought this wild ice thorn pear, and where did I catch a living ice owl to give you a crow? Black iron and iron earth fire are not refining, I buy back what to do, when the pillow is used, if you want to buy the entire market, my spiritual stones is not enough? I am still looking for spiritual stones to refine the heaven-mending pellet. Ahem, green-robed old man listening to Wei Suo is a bit embarrassing to say this. I used to like intercourse to go shopping in this market. This time in ghost-raising jar, it's been too long, 1 or 2,000. I haven't bought anything in the year, it's really itchy. But I will pay attention to it, useless things do not buy as much as possible, can you? Forget it, and heard that green-robed old man was soft, Wei Suo had a guilty conscience. Since you are so happy to buy things, I will try to bring you in the future. I will earn crystal stone in the future more, let you buy a one-time enjoyment. But now the great treasure home is tight, you still help me pick some that I want to use now, cost effective. Wei Suo low headlight surging sound speak in the eyes of others is to himself, like his level of rogue cultivator at present cannot afford anyone's attention, he said to green-robed old man, just to go to still be a good mix of rogue cultivator just pass by his side, hear him this sentence, these two rogue cultivator mutually looked at one eye, immediately to Wei Suo extremely with lust, poor guy, lack spiritual all lack have a head to have a problem, incredibly all a person speaks to oneself, the illusion later earns many spiritual stones buys a satisfying ah what. It's that guy at this time, Wei Suo's eyes were suddenly and unconsciously glimpsed. Who is, green-robed old man immediately felt the change of Wei Suo's lust. A family Zhang family guy of heavenly circuit realm first layer, I robbed me of a fire furnace room that day if there is one, we don't have a fire furnace room for the time being, that is the red shapeshift great art clothes. What Wei Suo saw was the red-looking middle-aged cultivator that had been seen in the auction venue before, and then grabbed the fire furnace room. Old man, what is that guy buying? The color of the surging sound is not close. Wei Suo sees the hazy red middle-aged cultivator being bought from a cultivator is a bag of fire. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 54. Chapter 54, Dark Lane Crisis, 4th, plus. 3 pieces of spiritual stones. At the corner of a slightly secluded street in the North Market, the green-robed old man in the ghost-raising jar was a bit mad, and even the Wei Suo's mantra was used. Old man, what the hell is this? The hand is pinching with a sloppy light and a shapeshift great art great treasure fragment that makes Wei Suo feel a little uncomfortable. After all, this thing was just seen by green-robed old man. It was crazy to call Wei Suo. You can't buy anything else. If you don't buy it, you must make Wei Suo regret it for half a lifetime. Green-robed old man is an old antique tens of thousands of years ago. No one knows how to use shapeshift great art's shapeshift great art great treasure fragment. Wei Suo doesn't worry at all. He just wants to know this. Something that is so exciting when green-robed old man buys something. Yin Demon Blade. This is the fragment of Yin Demon Blade, which is the spirit shift great art great treasure of spirit rank high grade, and I have just seen it, this thing should still have the great treasure semi-powerful energy of Yin Demon Blade. Green-robed old man said something gusty. Spirit rank shapeshift great art great treasure? A real spiritual artifact, or high grade. As soon as I heard the words of green-robed old man, Wei Suo suddenly had a great treasure and was a little tempted. High-grade spiritual artifact, if you leave a great treasure semi-powerful energy, isn't the power to be equivalent to a real spirit rank? Power is better than Lin Dei's shapeshift great art great treasure imitation, but it's more than twice as great. What kind of shapeshift great art great treasure is this? How do you use it? Wei Suo, good great treasure, came back after a while, and he was sweating and holding a half-knife-like grey shapeshift great art great treasure fragment. Wait a moment, let me see what the damage and remaining power of this shapeshift great art great treasure fragment is. As green-robed old man, the surging sound, was introduced into Wei Suo's ear, a subtle green glow emerged from the ghost-raising jar on Wei Suo's chest, from the Wei Suo's coat, along the arm. Wrapped in the grey shapeshift great art great treasure fragment in his hand. The shapeshift great art great treasure fragment is a refining of an unknown essence metal. It is engraved with some rune that is many times thinner than the spider silk. It is very cold and green in the hand. After flowing through these runes several times, I recovered the ghost-raising jar. A good news, a bad news, which one do you want to listen to first? The surging sound of green-robed old man rang again. Wei Suo, who has long been eager to eat, said, listen together. Green-robed old man is speechless, but immediately said, the good news is that this shapeshift great art great treasure's shapeshift great art array is not damaged. The power can indeed be equivalent to a real spirit rank. Art great treasure, and the cultivator of heavenly circuit realm 4th layer is almost the same as shapeshift great art. The bad news is that because of the fragmentation of shapeshift great art, to use this shapeshift great art great treasure, the true UN consumed is much more than the previous great treasure. With your current true UN cultivation base, it is estimated that only 2 can be launched. Next, true UN in the naked body will bottom out. There is also a crack in some parts of the fragmented body. If it collides with some harmed shapeshift great art great treasure or shapeshift great art, it may increase the damage degree. The slight consequence is that the powerful energy is reduced. The consequence is that it is completely broken and cannot be used. So there is a chance to fix it first. Repair, how to fix it? Wei Suo, who has already been happy, refuses to take it back. Now Wei Suo lacks the sharpshift great art and shapeshift great art, which is attacking the great treasure, and the shapeshift great art great treasure of the genuine spiritual artifact, which can be launched once or twice, has already made him happy, and in the future after the cultivation base is advanced, you can use it several times. As for easy breakage, can't be hard fought with the opponent, then it can at least be used for unexpected attacks. And things like this level are definitely not that easy to fix. Sure enough, Wei Suo didn't expect green-robed old man to reply, the patched shapeshift great art I know, but it doesn't help to tell you, there is no cultivation base of heavenly circuit realm 5th layer and a true fire shapeshift great art is not patched by shapeshift great art at all. Wei Suo looks at the grayshift shapeshift great art great treasure fragment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 55. Chapter 55 is spelled. Can the red ticket today be 7,000? Shapeshift great art great treasure fragment? Take a look. Purple de Deo old deist has no table lust and walked a few steps towards Wei Suo, coldly said. Wei Suo reached out and pulled out a piece of material that was just the fragment of the yin demon blade. Off. Just glanced at it, the old deist in the purple robe was a flash of cold in the eyes, and it was extremely simple to spit out a word. The 6 groups of Xuanhuan emerged, and a powerful spurt came out. Wei Suo immediately ran out of the alley with a squirrel-like look. The yellow shirt cultivator is very alert. The way you sell it is not to have a reveals flaw, the table lust and the look are very similar, or the cultivation base of the 2 people, maybe you will kill you all at once, and heaven's first sect people are too late to arrive. In the future, you should not risk doing this kind of cultivator that tracks the strength difference to great treasure. The green-robed old man's surging sound sounded until it was completely out of the alley, and the surrounding cultivator was louder. It sounded like a lingering look. Fortunately, I used to do the usual selling. Wei Suo also wiped a cold sweat. It's too dangerous to be a lust. If the 2 really want to kill him, even if green-robed old man tells him that the Yan Demon Blade's shapeshift great art is used, he may not be able to get from the 2 heavenly circuit realm cultivators. The sniper hit a small life. This kid is very sneaky and very suspicious. Looking at him is just a low-grade rogue cultivator. Unlike fake, I want to sell a shapeshift great art great treasure fragment that is impossible to use, hee. If you kill him here, if you recruit heaven's first sect, you will be in trouble. The surging sound of green-robed old man was suddenly introduced into Wei Suo's ear. Wei Suo stayed for a while. What are you talking about? Today is so dangerous, and what to say is what the 2 guys are doing. I am trying to travel around with the loss of origin chi and divine consciousness. Don't go any further. Otherwise I can't feel what they are saying. Green-robed old man said quickly. Wei Suo immediately the spirit of a vibration, but the eye is also flashed a touch of the look. Before asked green-robed old man why drink fire scorpion blood, he heard green-robed old man said, as long as origin chi abundant to a certain extent, green robed old man this artifact spirit can wander out shapeshift great art great treasure fetal naked body a certain distance, but now ghost raising jar shap e-shift great art matrix broken, even if there is a fire scorpion blood supplement, green. Robed old man origin chi daily or some lost, did not think green-robed old man this time for himself will be so desperately. Iron policy people have already come out and go straight to Blue Wind Mound, and it should be done tomorrow morning. In case of a miss, we have no place to die, is this 100% sure? If we don't have complete control, how can we get it? You can rest assured that Iron Policy has a group of cultivation base people who have been entrusted to 7-Star City. It will be back in 2 days, and the news is very certain. Among the mind-devouring bugs, it is true. There is an advanced level mind-devouring bug. Since the news is confirmed, there should be no problem. There is one more point. When you have a cultivator, you must be oysters. You will pay 500 more spiritual stones. When I got the person, you don't want to be a hot hand for that person. When do you meet? You can meet at sunrise tomorrow. There are a lot of nighttime high-level monster beasts in the evening, and they won't choose to start tonight. Alright. After the yellow shirt middle-aged cultivator and the purple robes old deist finished, they each left the exit from an alley. Wei Suo, who was mixed in front of a booth, was already cold and sweaty. Although only a few words, Wei Suo has already heard a great treasure. These days Iron Policy people are preparing to kill a rank 5 mind-devouring bug, just mind core of mind-devouring bug rank 5, worth 500 pieces of spiritual stones, and mind-devouring bug this kind of monster beast and ordinary the rank 5 monster beast is also different, and it has several pieces of material that can be used to refine the shapeshift great art great treasure. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 56. Chapter 56 All men, summon 7,000 red tickets. With a rush of surging sound, shopkeeper Tian walked in, and followed him in, and an old man in a black robe with a bit of grey hair. Brother Wei, are you really eager to mortgage some great treasures? Shopkeeper Tian is also very professional, don't ask other people at all, just look at Wei Suo. Wei Suo nodded. So late, I am tired of Shopkeeper Tian. Shopkeeper Tian said with apologetic, but as in other places, if the mortgage is in exchange for spiritual stones, there will be no redemption of shapeshift great art within 15 days, and it can only be sold as a mortgage. The price of the auction is slightly higher. I wonder if Brother Wei can accept it? No problem, Wei Suo smiled bitterly. This time, at least 3 of the Heavenly Circuit Realm cultivators are paired, and there is also a character that is at least the Heavenly Circuit Realm second layer. If it is not good, it will be finished, and it will be redeemed within a few days. This is the shapeshift great art suit that you have changed. Do you want to see if you are satisfied? Shopkeeper Tian nodded and handed a package in his hand to Wei Suo. The golden treasure shopkeeper at the Golden Jade Pavilion is obviously very organized and clear. This is the great treasure coat that was modified with the Fire Phoenix apron. Wei Suo was surprised to open the parcel and saw that one of the clothes looked gray and he looked more junk than the coarse cloth on his body. When I just put it on my hands, I found that it was much heavier than the average clothes. It's a good idea for you to think about shapeshift great art. The black sanded sang and the phoenix apron, the protection of this shapeshift great art suit is close to a spiritual artifact. Green-robed old man's surging sound sounded in Wei Suo's ears, but the Golden Jade Pavilion's artificer level is not good, the shapeshift great art array is better, and rank will be go up. I am very satisfied with this shapeshift great art. Hearing green-robed old man, Wei Suo certainly didn't have to try the powerful energy of this shapeshift great art suit. He directly changed the rough cloth of his body and put this piece of shapeshift great art. The clothes are worn on the body, and the great treasure is almost just right. Hearing that, Wei Suo said that he was very satisfied. Shopkeeper Tian had a superb look in the eyes of the old man who had been silent for the surging sound. Sure enough, jade cloud grass, until then, Shopkeeper Tian's gaze gathered on several things that Wei Suo took out. It was just a glance, and Jade Cloud Grass, shining with white light, saw a slight vibration in his eyes. Uncle Wang, I don't know much about treasure essence jade case. Please tell us about this great treasure. Seeing the treasure essence jade case placed next to Jade Cloud Grass, shopkeeper Tian turned the head and said this to the old man in black robes behind him. This old man is actually his uncle. Wei Suo now sees that the identity of the old man in black robes seems to be more distinguished than shopkeeper Tian. When I heard shopkeeper Tian, the old man in the black robe walked up without a lust, reached out and touched the material of treasure essence jade case, and picked up a silver candle placed inside, and looked at it. Nodded, to shopkeeper Tian, it is indeed treasure essence jade case. Green-robed old man surging sound sounded again. Look at this guy, should be the artificer of the Golden Jade Pavilion. Wei Suo didn't think much about it at this time, just looking at shopkeeper Tian and seeing what shopshift Tian said about shapeshift great art. To tell the truth, this treasure essence jade case is extremely important to our Golden Jade Pavilion. After all, we have a lot of materials that need such a shapeshift great art great treasure to keep spiritual chi. I saw shopkeeper Tian immediately said, if brother Wei you are willing to sell it directly, I can buy it from 4,000 pieces of spiritual stones. If it's just a mortgage, we can only pay up to 2,000 spiritual stones. Wei Suo shook his head. After all, Jade Cloud Grass and the gold wire talisman brush and the treasure essence jade case were the things that the green-robed old man's special intercourse had to keep. These things can shorten the redemption time limit. After 3 days, if I don't redeem, these things will be sold directly to the Golden Jade Pavilion, so that the price can be higher. For Wei Suo, if you can come back, it will definitely be a day, and a few more days. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 57. Chapter 57 Self-Exposure Orientation, 3rd. From the conversation between the yellow shirt cultivator and the old deist, the iron policy people should be at the Blue Wind Mound where they hunted the mind-devouring bug. The name Blue Wind Mound sounds ordinary, but when I think of the place name in my heart, Wei Suo still can't help but feel hair. Spirit Peak City is originally on the edge of Heaven's Dome in the southern part of Heavenly Profound Continent, while Spirit Peak City itself is located south-facing south and built on the hill. Blue Wind Mound is 3,000 miles south of Spirit Peak City and is already on the edge of Heaven's Dome. So Spirit Peak City's high-level cultivator, if you want to copy the nearest way to Heaven's Dome to see a wide variety of high-level monster beast, it's straight from Blue Wind Mound. In general, Spirit Peak City's high-level cultivator, even if you want to get Heaven's Dome to play the advanced monster core and collect materials, it is also a detour from the Spirit Peak City southeast secret place with many black-bone chickens. The closer to Heaven's Dome, the greater the number of monster beasts, because although many high-level monster beasts have no shapeshift great art at all through Heaven's Dome into the spiritual treasure land, some low-grade, there is no shapeshift great art. Monster beast, but it can pass through Heaven's Dome. In addition to the much more monster beast than anywhere else, Blue Wind Mound was originally a ghost cheese great treasure burial. Probably when ancient is this place belongs to the Feng Shui great treasure. There are a lot of great treasure characters in the land. Wei Suo before the arrival of Heaven's Dome edge is also relatively safe. The monster beast inside is plowed by many high-level cultivator. I plowed the Wuji Mountain over and over again, and did not pass the Blue Wind Mound. However, from some rumors and records, Wei Suo can be sure that the intricate land of the site will not be smaller than the Spirit Peak City. These tombs are also rich in a kind of other places do not have a level 3 upper grade monster beast called rotten corpse worms. In fact, this monster beast body is a kind of bodies like the naked of black shell beetle, but the body has a few tentacles of the hand great treasure small ugly things. This monster beast to rotten corpse viscera for food, like this is enough to make people queasy, but eat up the rotten corpse inside of things. This monster beast incredibly also can attach to rotten corpse inside, control rotten corpse action, rotten corpse as a shell, but also will continue to secrete a kind of mucus in the rotten corpse surface. Let rot. The surface of an corpse is as tough and abnormal as some monster beast's skin. This kind of rotten corpse insects that are active at night is a lot in the Blue Wind Mound area. Many people who don't know the lust are just a group of zombies, but they are all rotten corpse controlled by rotten corpse. Killing this monster beast is also very troublesome, because most of the great treasure rot corpse worms are hiding in the brain of the rotten corpse, but there are also many personalized rotten corpse worms that are hiding in other parts. It's still hard to fight, and the rotten corpse is smashed to kill this personality rotten corpse. From Spirit Peak City south to Blue Wind Mound, 2 transmission shapeshift great art arrays are sent from the Sharpshift great art array in Spirit Peak City south to Guangling Market, and then from Guangling Market to the north side of Blue Wind Mound. From Golden Jade Pavilion to Spirit Peak City south, Wei Suo also spread some news on some bulletin boards, directly saying that someone wants to deal with iron policy in Blue Wind Mound. And what is Blue Wind Mound? What spiritual herbs are present, and so on. As for whether this will make the yellow shirt cultivator and others feel conspiracy to expose without launching, or cause the cultivator to go to the Blue Wind Mound, this great treasure evening, Wei Suo is not in the slightest grasp. Anyway, for Wei Suo, the safest thing is to try your luck and see if you can find an iron policy directly after Blue Wind Mound. With a flash of white spirit light, Wei Suo walked out of the shapeshift great art array at Guangling Market. Guangling Hui was also a cultivator established in the town, and later did not know why, suddenly attracted a group of high-level monster beast siege, although those high-level monster beast later was Spirit Peak City and Fallen Moon City and so on. A few nearby cities monster beast killed a clean, but this place also became a piece of ruins. Only Heaven's first sect made a transmission shapeshift great art the staging point of the array. Because it is in the night, there are not a few cultivators in Guangling Market. It seems that a head card has been competed for opponent digging. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 58. Chapter 58 Sneak Attack, First. It didn't take long for the figure to flash, and a cultivator wearing a black leather armor appeared from the side of the jungle. The cultivator had a horse face, and when he came out, he was extremely careful, step by step, and kept looking at the 4 secret places, and he seemed to have a shapeshift great art in his hand. It should be done. Well prepared for the sudden attack. Almost instantaneously, this very cautious horse-face cultivator saw the black cockroach that was blown up by the fireball talisman at the waterhole. He stopped and his eyes flashed and he didn't know what he was thinking. Wei Suo, who was hiding in the tree, secretly glanced at the horse-face cultivator with aura-determining technique. He found that the horse-face cultivator was also a cultivation base higher than the rank 1 Divine Sea Realm 5th layer cultivator. Because of the thought of people who didn't find the iron policy by shapeshift great art, Wei Suo simply made a great treasure in this secret place, but now there is no shapeshift great art to judge the horse-face cultivator is iron policy. Or a group of yellow shirt cultivator. Come out, do you think I can't see you? Suddenly, the horse-face cultivator slammed a surging sound. Wei Suo was shocked and thought that this horse-face cultivator would have an amazing look at the invisible charm of shapeshift great art. Lie to you, I don't think that this guy is like a good person. But right away, Wei Suo snarled in his heart. Because this horse-face cultivator is a cold and proud look, but the eyes are still sweeping in the 4 secret place, it is simply not the secret place hidden in Wei Suo. A surging sound whistle, just at this time, from the opposite side of the horse-face cultivator, but there is another person, made a gesture to the horse-face cultivator, indicating that the horse-face cultivator not nervous, is his own. This horse-face is really not a good person. What makes Wei Suo's heart cold is that at the moment, it is the old deist of the Heavenly Circuit Realm 1st layer cultivation base he saw at the Chinbei market. Black water poisonous cockroach. The purple gaze of old deist swept away the black cockroach that was turned over to the ground, coldly said, it should be that kid, and only his low-grade cultivator, to deal with this. A third level monster beast is also a great treasure with a shapeshift great art. The horse-face cultivator nodded. The purple scorpion predecessor, this kid wants to break our great treasure, must make good preparations for him. He should not go far. We split up and grab him out. You go out and look for it right away. Purple Deo old deist said coldly, I am searching around here to avoid this kid's cunning, and I expect people from Iron Policy to come and sneak back to the secret place. As soon as I heard the old deist of Zipao, Wei Suos couldn't help but secretly complained. He didn't want to take risks and a cultivator intercourse of heavenly circuit realm, but now his invisible character has limited time. This purple robe old deist does not go, the invisibility time is over, it will definitely be this purple robe old deist found. After a little hesitation, Wei Suo held his breath in the hands of the great treasure, the 5 elements brass ring and the yin demon blade. The horse-face cultivator nodded and was about to leave. Who? At this time, the old deist of the purple robe suddenly flashed in the eyes and looked at the direction of Wei Suo. Ah! But the purple Deo old deist and the horse-face cultivator almost simultaneously issued a surging sound scream, a group of glare that was more dazzling than the midday sun, and the two men were covered in a moment. Generally, you can't open it at all. And in the purple robes old deist and horse-face cultivator a surging sound screams, eyes cannot help but close, tears rolling down, while a copper ring suddenly fell from the sky, suddenly set in the purple robe old deist on the body, fiercely shrank, hug the hands and feet of the old deist. In the mountains near the waterhole, there was a sudden wind and great treasure. A dozen terrifying black skulls and a black light all hit the old deist in the wind. I saw the purple robe on the old deist. Suddenly rises up one dragon and one tiger, 2 groups of guanghua, will be a dozen black chi condensed terrifying black. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 59. Chapter 59 does not like intercourse drill great treasure hole, second more. Dried anchovies inside horse-face cultivator a bulging skin is also obviously his spiritual stones bag. Wei Suo opened it and suddenly couldn't help but call a surging sound in his heart. Compared to these high-level cultivators, Wei Suo's is indeed a poor ghost. And the horse-face cultivator seems to have a special hobby to collect high-grade spiritual stones. In his spiritual stones bag, there isn't even a middle-grade spiritual stones. Except for more than 50 pieces of spiritual stones, the rest is 30. Multiple high-grade spiritual stones. The amount of spiritual chi in one is equivalent to 100 high-grade spiritual stones of spiritual chi in spiritual stones. Wei Suo has seen it, but he has never seen it. For him, high-grade spiritual stones is also very rare. So he couldn't help but took out one and looked at it. Great treasure little and middle grade spiritual stones, the next product spiritual stones is no different, but the color is milky white, the color is more crystal clear. Seeing that Wei Suo actually looked at high-grade spiritual stones, green-robed old man screamed. Do you still have time to study high-grade spiritual stones? Still not quick to see if there is anything to save your life? Wei Suo sweated and immediately put the high-grade spiritual stones and looked at the rest. In the treasure-receiving pocket of the old deist, in addition to a bunch of spiritual stones, there are 2 white jade pill bottles, a gold foil book, 6 golden willow-like things, and a black bead. This is golden spirit pellet. Wei Suo took out 2 white jade pill bottles, which was thought to contain the same chi recovery pellet as Lindeyi. But of the 2 white jade pill bottles, only one white jade pill bottle contained 20 chi recovery pellet, while the other white jade pill bottle contained 3 pale gold medicine pill. Wei Suo recognizes it all at once. This is a golden spirit pellet made with a 3-level monster beast monster core and several kinds of artificial herbs. The current cultivator is based on medicine pill cultivation refining spiritual stones and monster core. Golden Spirit Pellet. This 3-level monster core refining medicine pill, which is not as good as a high-grade spiritual stones, but the cultivator refining is also a great treasure faster than the high-grade spiritual stones, the speed of spiritual chi. So the price of a golden spirit pellet is also above 110 below the spiritual stones. Only the purple Dao old Daist, the heavenly circuit realm cultivator, capable of killing the high-level monster beast, was able to use the golden spirit pellet cultivation. The ordinary low-grade cultivator, although it is known that using the Meditator core refining medicine pill cultivation will be faster, it is impossible to have enough spiritual stones to purchase this medicine pill. Even Wei Suo is reluctant to waste more than dozens of the following spiritual stones to buy golden spirit pellet for cultivation. Mystic Rank Advanced Work Shapeshift Great Art. I picked up the gold foil book. Wei Suo just saw it. I don't know if it's time to cry or laugh. Gold Liquid Flowing Dan. This gold foil Taoist book of purple Dao old Daoist is actually a true scale gong shapeshift great art of mystic rank. In the past, Wei Suo dreamed of a high-level point. Shapeshift great art changed the purple mystic true technique, but now with the heaven mending pellet, it is impossible for him to re-repair the gold liquid. Of course, it is useless to him. Set of shapeshift great art. Wei Suo picked up 6 pieces of golden willow-like things, but found 6 thin essence metal flying blades, and the rune on the 6 flying blades were different. Flower flying blade, semi-spiritual artifact. There is not much to consume true yuan. When Wei Suo was surprised to look at the set of things, green-robed old man gave the answer directly, and said, if you use it, your yin demon blade will not be used true yuan's lust. This set of things can still be topped. Offensive semi-spiritual artifact. Wei Suo's eyes flashed in surprise, and then it was a bitter smile. Such a set of shapeshift great art is usually extremely rare, but now it seems to be a bit of a useless for the opponent that I face. What is that? Wei Suo, the last black wax ball in the old Daoist treasure receiving pocket, can't understand it. Law of the throat. Green-robed old man sneer, soluble in water, colorless and tasteless, but even a lot of 5. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 60. Chapter 60 lets you die and understand. 3rd. It seems that I have to repair a shapeshift great art like a luminous eye in the future. It all seems to have a close relationship with the drill hole. Wei Suo, some burning with desires, crying and tears, looking at the labyrinth of the labyrinth. In the past, Wei Suo didn't like intercourse to play monster beast in a hole that might run out of time. But since Lin Dei made a hole in the hole last time, it was Shiji. The cave is now the Blue Wind Mound, a hole in a hole. The entire land was completely like a city that was buried in the ground after being shocked by the earthquake. Now Wei Suo is standing on a ruined stone step, with all the collapsed stone pillars and sculptures on either side. Looking forward, there are many palaces that have collapsed half or completely collapsed under the darkness. The most erected is the half of the statue and the various broken stone pillars that were originally used to support the palace. There are still some scattered bones. Wei Suo has a crack in the top of the cave at the top of the 7-8 foot high. The land under Blue Wind Mound is now the same as a broken house to the secret place. Wei Suo ran through the crack to the below-ground tomb, but Wei Suo's can only make people vacate 5 or 6. Zhang, now Wei Suo is falling, and if you want to go out, you have to find another way out. After Wei Suo turned his head and looked at it for a while, he said to green-robed old man, the old man, you have to help me look at it. Otherwise, if I accidentally got something restrictions or was sneaked in by monster beast, in this place where the bird is not smashing, you may have to wait another tens of thousands of years to be discovered. You don't talk nonsense, help you watch it. Green-robed old man is very uncomfortable with a surging sound. Even if you are finished, you will not bother with it? Anyway, my life will not last for many years. Wei Suo nodded and tried to squint at the luminescent pearl. When the eyes were slightly accustomed to the darkness in front of them, they drifted toward the place where there was a surging sound. The environment in the land is very bad, and Wei Suo is very scared. To the secret place is the collapsed rock, the black dragon, the various roads. There is no good road, don't say it. Many passing palaces are swaying, burning with the descendants, sometimes half a wall slanting, a dilapidated temple, so that Wei Suo, who is fearful from the inside, fears that he will be bad if he is too bad. There is also a good road to look at, walking forward and found that it is a broken bridge, the front foot is the abyss that cannot see the end. There is no way to go back, and Wei Suo has to change the mark he left from time to time, for fear that he will get lost in it. To make matters worse, after a while in the place where the previous surging sound sounded, the surging sound of the secret place disappeared. On the other hand, in the other direction, it seems that it is very far away. Shapeshift great art surging sound. Nangong looking beauty, where are you? Give me some tips. To be sure, Nangong looking is now in the square where the radius is a few hundred miles away, and it must be within 300 miles of Wei Suo, because the communication jade talisman in Wei Suo's hand is still a few moments ago. The light. However, this communication jade talisman is a low-end goods. It only knows that Nangong looking is here. At this moment, nothing should be done, but there is no shadow shift great art to pass the extra information. Wei Suo, who is a bit of a dilemma, is standing in front of a narrow ramp. This long and narrow ramp can only pass one person, but the top is completely cracked with a crack of almost great treasure, stretching upwards, and some weak light is reflected in, and the whole is a one-line sky. Listening to another surging sound from the secret place, Wei Suo still bit his teeth and walked into the narrow ramp. After all, the secret place is too far away from where he is now. When you don't touch the halfway, the surging sound disappears. It's in vain, it's better to listen to it.